Now, how do you break a hero like Shin? Losing his brother at the very beginning of this entire journey and coupling this with the Bayou incident should have technically been enough. Well, for most main characters and stories, it most likely would have been. The entire scene of Shin holding his brother in his arms as he slowly bled out is heartbreaking on its own. Shin losing his idol that he so greatly desired to receive mentorship from. The model great general he imagined all his childhood. Gone. Loved one after loved one lost as he helplessly watches. All this affects Shin in a way that we've rarely seen throughout the 300 chapters we've known him. Many but not fatal cracks in the glass. Hyo's death gave him the conviction for his dream. Oki's death forced him to realize this dream is far from easy. In past situations, we've seen Shin falling short, perhaps struggling to perform here and there, but he has always been the Shin we know and love, still fighting to his last breath and proclaiming that he would defeat anyone who stood in his way. But now, there is truly nothing he can do. Shin was unable to leave even a scratch on Roboku, as the great general left him a most ominous piece of wisdom, that he had yet to learn the true terror of war, even after these first two heartbreaks. Scary. Our protagonist, who was previously unshakable, is truly helpless. Not fearless, not confident, and not proclaiming sure victory. All he can do is watch as this avalanche swallows up every Chin city. Here, for the first time, he realizes that there is nothing he alone can actually do. For the first time, Shin is forced to experience the limits of his strength. This hits especially hard because Shin as a character has never once questioned himself over the entirety of Kingdom up to this point. Of course, an uncertain moment here and there, but never uncertainty in who he is. And this moment leaves Shin truly questioning himself for the first time in the series. Am I really still not strong enough? However, this is not enough, and Hara recognizes that this is not enough. Hara has spent 300 chapters writing Shin as the hero of many miracles, with a spirit like no other. For someone who has built up such a crazy streak of constant victories and impossible success like Shin, this someone needs to be broken in a more vicious manner than anyone else to do the trick. And so, while seeing the advancing coalition may have been enough to make Shin question himself, for a success story built up as much as Shin, his first two heartbreaks, coupled with this impending doom, are not enough to break his spirit. As traumatic as these experiences are, as expected, Shin bounces back yet again, even after losing Oki, the greatest general ever in his eyes. He still believes that one day he will defeat everyone that has beaten him, regaining his confidence moving into Sanyo. So Hara allows Shin to find his footing again. Shin lost his mentor, but still, he is able to confidently continue forward on his path. Sure, Shin was defeated, but it isn't over. He made a significant step by defeating a powerful general in Rinko, and even had Rempa, a great general on the level of Oki, give him reassurance on how to achieve his dream. Even his old friend Ten has now attained a level of strategy to be able to join him in his battles. It could not be going better for Shin. Only now we then find out there is a most dire situation. Sei's life and Shin's home are on the line. We've already seen how much Shin loves Sei, and this time, it isn't a mentor we quickly came to admire tragically passing. Sei and the entire state of Chin will perish if Shin does not save the day once again. So this is truly a crucial point to understand. Throughout the entirety of Kingdom, this is the single most personal situation that Shin has ever had on his hands. So often Shin is fighting for the sake of his dream, coming into many people's lives and changing those lives, on his way to being China's best. Only now, for the first time, Shin has to save what is really important to him. Without a doubt, the closest person he has in the entire world, his best friend. This is where Hara's 300 chapters of world building come into play, meaning for so long the Heishin unit has been coasting under the blissful protection of those above them in rank. They may briefly encounter these otherworldly threats that thankfully don't concern them for long. At times we hear about the great generals of China that are not too far from our own borders that luckily they don't have to deal with yet. But then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Hara does the unthinkable and reveals that we are going to meet all of them, all at the same time. All the states, all the great generals, all the armies. Every terrifying state that Hara has teased over 300 chapters. Suddenly they're all coming out to play, and specifically, they're all coming out to kill Sei. It's like Hara took his sweet time to tease these major threats bit by bit in the reader's mind to maximize our anticipation of China's great general tandems, and then all of a sudden went all in and brought them all onto the table at once while dropping Shin's helpless best friend right in the middle. That is how one creates a story that has you on the edge of your seat. seat. Every titan of a threat that seemed far away is suddenly an immediate impending disaster, converging all around the person Shin cares about the most, creating the challenge with the greatest stakes that our main character has ever seen in his journey so far. Every single time, Shin has done the impossible until now. Every single time he has proven to everybody that he is unstoppable. But now the very nature of who he is, his soul, is now going to be put to the test on an unprecedented scale, with the consequences of failure being greater than anything that has happened before. And it starts with our first encounter with Gahome. Again, Hara's world building comes into play for this masterful setup. Much like the great threats of the world being China's great generals that we've seen so far, Gahome has been built up as another intelligent mastermind with his self-comparison to Raboku, serving to cement himself in our minds as someone just as terrifying. And so yet again, Shin is taking on the impossible for what feels like the millionth time, saving Jukio from this latest threat's schemes, who was just previously framed as the son of one of the fire dragons of Wei. Not only that, but is fearless and more than confident in his ability to destroy Chin's most experienced general. So for the sake of his best friend, Shin is most literally running headfirst into the vanguard of the coalition army, and even he is managing to surpass expectations, fighting to push them back further and further until he runs into the devil himself. And so, despite Shin going all out, using his strength to the full with Sei's life on the line, even seeing so many comrades being sent to a quick death if that's what it takes to win this battle. Yet again, here we see Shin fail, seeing those burnt cities before his eyes, failing to save the children were not enough. But again, Shin goes all out when it matters most and falls utterly short. But is this really enough? The war has yet to truly begin. Shin never falls down forever. He always bounces back and always finds a way, as Oki told us. To be a great general is to continually overcome strife and carnage. And now, he's headed over to Kenko Pass, where he will be nothing more than a dust particle in an absolute storm. How's that for some strife? All these S-tier generals from China's other states are going to be engaging in all-out war. The Xiao army that Shin could not best is acting as a mere supporting cast in this battle of monsters. If he wasn't already, he is hitting way above his weight now more than ever. The hero that always ended up pulling off a miracle in every battle so far. The unstoppable force defeating individuals no one thought would be beaten. The ever-burning light of hope for all the state of Chin. He is being put through the emotional ringer for chapters upon chapters, taunted, crushed, left helpless. He's practically being guaranteed a traumatic experience, rushing in with all that he has to save the mentor he's grown to love and appreciate, perhaps even more than Oki, having fought with Jukio in his very first battle, and spending the most time with him on the battlefield. It is when all hope seems lost, and again, it seems like Shin is done for, and he can't do it, that he puts his life on the line, beelining straight to where two great heavens of Xiao are, even if it will kill him, because he knows life would not be worth living if he were to fail here and lose yet another mentor. So literally running on fumes, his big hero moment arrives, but we are denied. Shin should be dead right now, if it weren't for Jukio telling him to move forward to Kanyo. Many would think that this should easily be Shin's redemption moment, that he could save Jukio at the very last second where he failed to do so for Oki. This has to be the most effort that Shin has put in of all Kingdom arcs up to this point. No other time in the entire series has he bled this much, failed this much, fought this much, and finally when it came to what we were waiting for, his big hero moment, all hope is ripped away just like that. Did you enjoy this video? Check out my other videos. Be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated on my latest videos. I appreciate you guys.